Hey guys, welcome to Reality React channel. In this channel, we watch reality TV shows to recap, review, and have the fun of it. And today, I'll be reviewing the Mommy Club and episode 2, season 3. And so they're still at the dinner, and also we find out from Vuyo that the reason why she feels like she didn't like the question that Noxie was asking in terms of what she does is because she thinks that question is used to measure where she should class her. So Noxie is coming off as a classist. And the new mothers introduce themselves, and also we got an introduction from Nozipo. So as she's introducing herself, Pheladi, the farmer, says that she is hoping that Nozipa will prove her wrong, because now she has changed her mindset. Her mindset is that she doesn't like Nozipa, or she's the least liked mom because of she's playing victim. And then we also found out from Mrs. Also, Vio told us that she's in variety of what she does. She moves from construction to whatever she does. It's just a lot of things. And I'm just like, what exactly does she do in all of these businesses? And I know people could say that they're in construction because they do tender constructions. They are in beauty because they sell beauty products. People can do a variety of things, but at least be specific. The way Unoxi said that she's a real estate a manager, but she sells houses in a specific area because it gives us, in Waterfall to be specific, but it gives us an idea of what she does instead of just saying, I'm in property. What do you do in property? You could be a real estate manager. You could be building the houses. You could even be cleaning the houses, but you'll say you are in cleaning business in that case. But I'm just saying that Vuyo, she's very, she's a mom, but she's not out there. She's not telling people what she does. And also, Mrs. J tells us that she is also a psychologist, because when she was introducing herself, I'm like, because she said she's into mind matters and spirituality and all of that, and I'm like, are you a qualified psychologist? But then she cleared that she's also a psychologist. On the other side, she's a spiritual healer, and that's a good thing. So Happy is not happy with Mrs. Sunday's comments about her talking while she's still talking, because this is an open thing and Mrs. Sunday is not supposed to feel the way she's feeling. So she just says, just enjoy the dinner, ladies, and let's move past it. And also Mrs. Mobs tried to calm that situation down, and then they started with the introductions. So Pheladi asked if she just says that if love was to find her, she would go back to getting married again because she's a divorcee. And then the ladies ask, oh, how was your situation and whatnot, and how the other one, Avuyo, she's a widow for the second time. And Mrs. J is like, I wonder if that's a spiritual thing or it's just God's doing. She has been married 3 times. I know. Like, it just sounds like it's a lot of number of times to be married again and again and again. But yeah, it's just the way life has panned out for her. And I wonder if Mrs. J will be doing the readings for these ladies. Because when she said that, I was like, are you going to tell us whether it's a spiritual thing or not? But she didn't. And then then Pheladi start explaining her whole story about how she was married to a man that was 33 years older than her, and that man was in the same school, like 2 grades away from with her mother. And the ladies are calling her a sugar baby, and I'm like, I wanted Happy to say it to her face that, oh, you are a sugar baby, like a comment, but not like sounding the way she was sounding in her diary, laughing. And also, it is Mrs. Mobs who made Pheladi join the show, but she's the same person who's asking. So it shows that their friendship is not genuine, or it was not on that level. Because you would know how old is your your friend's man, somehow, some way. And then, like, under normal circumstances, I hope that's how it would happen. But she's the one who asked how old was that guy, or maybe she's the one who had to ask because of, I don't know, because of whatever reason. But I'm just like questioning their friendship now. And then we find out that also Pheladi is co-parenting, but she had left the kids with the guy because she left the marriage with nothing, and it was the best decision for her now. But when it first started, she was not happy with that point of the separation, because the separation was not good. She's even crying in the diary session because of how she's remembering or recollecting of how bad it was for her and maybe even her kids. And then as they are talking, one of the ladies asked her if she would go back, and then she says that for her kids she would. And I'm like, she will still go back to 60 something year old man. But remember that Konko was living with almost 70 something old men in 20 whatever. But yeah, she, girls are very brave out there. So, and being a sugar baby has benefits. And at least he had married her. That's what people on the streets will say when men marry younger women. I don't want to call them kids, but they are still kids. A 19-year-old is still a child anyway. But according to the law, they're an adult, so they are allowed to do whatever they want to do. Like this girl married while she was 20 something, and she divorced that guy 7 years later, and she has 2 kids, and she couldn't stay with them because the guy had more money, and it was the best decision. And I understand her. For me, I feel like as much as the ladies are judging her for leaving her kids behind, but with the explanation, it sounds like they understand where she was coming from because it made sense. But they are judging her for living with nothing. What if that old man, because he's 33 years older than her, he had more experience, he had whatever experience, so he made her sign a prenup? And you can't, if you think that this is forever and you are hoping that he's 50 something, then maybe in the next 10 years he'll be gone, then I'll be able to inherit everything that he came in with. And you just hoping, sugar babies and that get married. I feel like that's the only, beside the love, maybe, the fact that they could inherit his money maybe makes more sense. So they move on to find out when Pheladi tells them that she will go back for her kids, they now ask Nozipo if she has gone back into her marriage, if they are fixing things. And then when someone says, have you left? Has she left? And she's like, no, I have not left. But she also told us in her diary sessions that she's not going to be part of the mommy club, and she understands the interest that people on the table have on her relationship because she brought her relationship to the public. And also someone leaked that video of her kids begging their dad to stay at home. And recently we found out that he married a virgin who's 20 something years old, almost close in age with his kids. But there's no shame. I'm just saying that Pheladi married someone who's 33 years older and stuff like that. So Nozipo is saying that she's staying in her marriage, but she doesn't want us to be intruders in that decision making. And I get her. Good for her. She's protecting her marriage and stuff like that. And then we move to, so before the end of the dinner, they talk about Nozipo's marriage, right? And they talk about Nozipo's marriage, right? And Mrs. J tells her that she can be a mom kulu in the marriage. Mrs. J or Happy says that she could be a mom kulu in the marriage. And I'm like, guys, why are you imposing? She's telling you that she's not ready to discuss these things yet. And then now you are coming off as she could do it. And they now talk about dating married men. And Happy says that she is okay with Istembu. She could be a mamngane or a mamkulu depending on the situation. And I'm like, interesting. Also, Mrs. J said that in order for her to support her husband, she would do it. So I'm like, okay, makes sense because she's into spiritual healing and stuff like that. The conversation, Pheladi asked Mrs. Sunday what she does for a living, because everyone had introduced themselves except for the lady sitting next to Nozipo that I do not know what's her name or what her story there. And yeah, she's here. She didn't introduce herself. She's not talking much so far. And then they also talk about being at stay at home moms, and also Noxie chips in and says she's also a stay at home mom. They're talking, Hippie comes in and tells them that she's taking them to Palala so that they can all go. And then Mrs. Mobs tells us that she's not going to be part of the Mommy Club. She's going to be she doesn't tell us, but she's a friend of the Mommy Club now, so she will appear and all of that. And I like that she played the role into introducing the new moms, and it seems like they had their relationships of some sort. And she's saying that she's taking a break from the Mommy Club. I wonder if it has to do with her house being auctioned and stuff like that. But yeah, she decided not to be part of it, and they're saying that so Happy says that she would like to go for, even though she was judging Pheladi when she says that she uses her vibrator for her morning glory when Mrs. Sunday, I don't know if she's closed off or what, but she's like, she doesn't want to talk about her bedroom affairs. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But nothing wrong with girls talking about it. It also Noxie judged that conversation. And then she also said that it's asking people about what they do for a living is a good icebreaker, because what else can she ask them? Should she be asking them what is your favorite color when she meets new people? And I'm like, you are right, girl, because I was also surprised. Why is we not offended by this? Like, it's not an offensive statement. We just want to know what you do for a living. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you can say you're a stay-at-home mom. Or if you have inherited the funds from the passing of your husband, you could also say that. And then we move right along into... So at the end of the dinner, Mrs. Sunday says, let's toast to the new moms. And then they say their goodbyes. And we are introduced to Vui and her kids. They are talking about whether the other child needs to be traveling to school or she needs to be staying at school for her varsity. And Andisa wants to stay at rest because she's more focused, and she just wanted to have her license just for having it, not to be able to drive to and from school. And I feel like that makes more sense. She gets more involved into the campus life, and also you get I feel like it gives you to socialize on campus even on weekends. And so both Noxie and Vui meet up with their friends, and we get introduced to Rosette, who is a model, and she's into other businesses that she spoke about. But they are discussing that question of Noxie asking Vui what does she do for a living, and then Rosetta doesn't see anything wrong with it, but she also mentions that sometimes the way Noxie speaks, she can easily offend people, maybe of her tone or of whatever. So maybe she says this in a direct, and she ended up saying it to her face, and I'm like, okay, good. But she was just saying that you could easily offend people, so maybe it's that, and the fact that now you're getting introduced to new people and all of that, and good for you. She's happy that her friend is meeting new people and that she will get to go out to Limpopo with them. They even cheers to Palala so that Noxie can be, motivated to go on this journey of meeting the new moms. And then, and I don't see how they don't see the other side of that question, because even, I know it sounds like you want to rate people, but it's just that you want to know people. So I get Noxie's side and I also get Rosette's side. But when Vui is trying to explain this to Happy, that the reason why she doesn't like that question is because you want to rate people, you don't want to make genuine friendships. You want to say, oh, this person has this qualification, so therefore this is how I'm going to treat them. And I'm like, I get that, but guys, you don't know these people. It's not about rating, and it's not about genuine connection. You just want to start there. So let's say Vui, and that's probably the reason why Happy said that Vui and Noxie were going to get along, because when she introduced herself, Vui said that she's into construction. The other one is selling houses. That could be a good click, but because Vui is, whatever is going on with whatever she does for a living, is busy clapping her, or there's a wound there according to Noxie. So that's why she was very captured in a way of. Oh, that's why she didn't even want to see her face, such that she even blocked her with her shoulder, that Noxie had to move to sit next to Mrs. J. And then Noxie says that so Rosette asked, are you friends with any of them? Or are you clicking with any of them? She says that she clicked the most with Mrs. J. She thinks that Mrs. J's spirit is genuine, and also she wants to be genuine herself and authentic, and also she wants to bring her awesomeness, but she thinks that could be offensive to other people, or they could take it wrong, and that's how she was feeling about it. So the lunch was so that they can try and suss how they were feeling about the dinner. And also Void still went on and said, and when she's talking in her diary, she's like, I don't know, Mrs. Noxie. And I'm like, okay, her surname is Kumalo. Happy said it so many times that her name is Noxie Kumalo. So why are you being like that? She's genuinely being she's going to be mean to this girl for no reason. For me, I feel like that's how she's going to be, and not because Noxie did anything else other than asking what does she do for a living. Maybe we'll find out what she does for a living. Why she was offended by being asked, what do you do for a living? So maybe later on during the show, or as the shows goes on, we'll find out what is the wound that Noxie was talking about in there. And then she also says, Happy tells her what she has planned to for them to do in Palala, and she says just pack your swimming costume, your summer dresses, and all of that, and it's a nice place. She's going to enjoy it. So the next person we find out about how their experience of the new moms is Pheladi and Mrs. J. Mrs. J had invited Pheladi into her house, and Pheladi came bearing gifts for her and her kids, So Pheladi is really trying to be nice. And then in their conversation, they talk about Pheladi's marriage, and she tries to find out if they have divorced traditionally and the way of detaching. And then she explains to us that it's a strenuous process and it's not always successful. And this is why she says that in traditionally there's no divorce, or in the long time ago, back in the day, there was no divorce because of this type of process and the fact that people wouldn't want to engage. And then Pheladi tells us that she has tried to find her roots, and she has made peace with this divorce. And if Mrs. J had asked her this question, how are you with the divorce? She would have, 3 years ago, she would have said she's not okay. And then, and then she also tries to find out how they experience the other people. So already Pheladi had found someone she least like, because Nozipo is out of the show. She says that person is Noxie. She found her to be a bit much. And I'm like, a bit much? She didn't say much. And you were the one who was the leader of the conversation. Most of the conversation began because of what you were saying, except for the trip. She's the one who was even suggesting to the ladies that they like talking about sex toys and how they could go shopping for that. And I'm just like, but and then Noxie is a bit much. How? Maybe there was things that she said that we didn't see, because I didn't find her to be a bit much. She was just trying to blend with the ladies. Maybe there's no, they are not flowing together in their juices of talking. But anyway, so also Pheladi says that she found Mrs. J to be nosy. And I'm like, yeah, because when she was asking those questions, I was like, okay, where are you going with this? Why can't you? And she felt like Mrs. J is imposing her beliefs onto her. I wouldn't say she's imposing, because she was just asking questions. She didn't say, have you cleansed? Do you want me to cleanse you? And she was not saying that. Mrs. J's house also looks fine. She was burning incense in the house as well. And yeah, I don't know if it's related to tradition or not. And also her husband is the one that bought alcohol for Pheladi, because Mrs. J saw that Pheladi was drinking the previous day. So at the dinner, the previous event. So she had bought jeans and stuff like that. And Pheladi says that she doesn't really like gin, but you know what is offered, she'll have it. And when she's about to leave, Mrs. J says, you can take the bottle with you. And then Pheladi says that, no, pack the bottle for me. I will drink it in Palala. And I'm like, ma'am, I wonder if you are lying to this lady. And she probably could say it. And also, Mrs. J told us about whom she connect with the most in terms of spirituality, but she's not gonna mention that person's name. She's just gonna wait until it unfolds. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And then the next scene, that's the last scene. The mummies are packing to go to the trip. They're having their aunties, they're having their kids help them. Happy's kids are also helping there. And Pheladi's auntie, Pheladi's helper is being told that you can go home and attend to your husband and stuff like that while I'm on the trip. And then Mrs. J, she's wondering how will the helper be with the kids if she's going to stick to schedule and stuff like that. And then Happy Tiseto says that there will be drama because the mummies have no peace. And yeah, but that drama sells, so there has to be. So yeah, and Happy end up praying for the trip, for people to be safe. And Mrs. Sunday, she's picking some blue dress, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's for the gala dinner. It didn't look like a holiday type of dress, but I saw that everyone is picking a dress for the gala dinner that they are going to have. But yeah, so yeah, and also Happy was picking questionable dresses there as well, black dresses and stuff by the kids. But I guess that's for the gala dinner as well. So yeah, the kids are helping their mummies pack. And thank you guys for watching this recap. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. See you guys next time.